Let's talk about Creed Humphrey's recent comments on Patrick, the elite quarterback Mahomes, Jon Gruden being a bum, the running back room and projected starters before training camp. Then let's take a look at Mahomes training videos and much freaking more. But first, how about those? What's up, guys? My name is Cole, aka Chief Kingdom ZZ Top, or sometimes known as the red-bearded Raider hater. And first off, if I was your teacher when you were growing up, you would have had way better grades in school. And second, I do daily news about the Chiefs and the NFL overall, so go ahead and unsubscribe if you think Derek Carr is a good quarterback, and hit that like button if you are elated that this is the last month without NFL football until March of 2023. And let's get into this video, starting with some player news via their social media channels. Justin Reid can be seen waking up almost as early as I do. I get up at 3:55 to make these videos every morning because it sounds way cooler than waking up at 4. Just a random side note. Frank Clark is proud of his brother for losing almost 100 pounds. And honestly, I'm proud as well. So let's freaking go. Christian Clark, aka Frank Clark's baby brother. We now have an update on where Juan Thornhill is currently located in Greece, and it's Oia Santorini. Sounds like a pasta dish. And here's what it looks like from the exact same spot at night, in case you were wondering. Woohoo! MVS can be seen spinning a little ball near his foot, mainly to show you that he has diamonds not on his wrist, but on his cankle. And here he is flexing in his uniform, followed by these wild-looking shoes as he sits on a plane, waiting to take off. And speaking of airplanes, here's an airport selfie from Colin Saunders. You're welcome. Willie Gay shares a hype video that was put together of him going out there and breaking up plays, catching some INTs, and making a difference on the defense. It's pretty cool. Little 1-minute piece was made. If you want to check it out, link is in the description for the whole thing. Cornell Powell can be seen on a boat, and it almost makes me seasick just watching him go like this with the camera. CEH can be seen in this ad promoting the Cyclone V2, I think it is, by Tiger Air. And you know what? He freaking got me, because out of curiosity, I went to their website and here's what it said. Lightweight and powerful, the Cyclone V2 is designed to fit inside your little helmet and accelerate air all over your entire face. Powered by built-in rechargeable LiPo batteries that can run nonstop for 300 minutes on a single charge, the Cyclone V2 fits snugly in any compatible football helmet and is safe for dogs. Well, it doesn't say that about dogs, but it is safe for all ages. So there you go, Tiger Air, free adverts from me for your company. And no, this segment was not sponsored. Mahomes can be seen cuddling with his dog as they both watch TV together. But my question is, how the heck did he get his dog to watch TV? Before this, Mahomes could be seen training with teammates Shane Buechele and George Karlaftis with trainer Bobby Stroop. They start out playing an interesting game of hot potato, and Stroop makes a disclaimer that this conditioning drill is not QB coaching and does not replace working on a technical model or crafting your position. Well, thanks for the disclaimer, Bobby Stroop. We all appreciate that, and they weren't done there as they transitioned to working on throwing the ball to each other while backpedaling, moving sideways, all that fun stuff. And honestly, I'm just continuing to talk right now so you can see more of these clips that I would just play in their original audio, but it's got copyrighted music all over it. So you get my high-pitched voice instead, and I do apologize for that. Anyway, they then do some Hulk smash slams, and then Karlaftis is doing these little box steps with like 540 pounds on his back. You know, no big deal at all here. And while that may be no big deal to someone like George Karlaftis, something that is a big deal to thousands around the world are NFL rivalries. And this graphic here goes over the top 10, and the first thing that jumps out to me is on the bottom of this graphic, which is absolutely savage, and I absolutely love it. It has the Lions pitted against their biggest NFL rival by far, and that is a winning record. So far, the winning record is absolutely dominating, allowing the Lions to have more wins than losses in a season only 37 times, while they themselves claimed the victory 55 times. Poor Lions, they suck. And then, number 4 in particular is worth mentioning here, as it's the Chiefs against the Raiders. And of course, the Chiefs and the Raiders do not get along. And of course, Derek Carr is Patrick Mahomes' son. But this is further confirmed by the fact that the Chiefs have beaten the Raiders 15 more times than the Raiders have beaten the Chiefs. That's 15 more games of catching that W that I can barely make with my hand, like it's a regular part of life. Meanwhile, the Raiders, when they beat the Chiefs every now and again, they celebrate and lose their minds like they've won the Super Bowl and drive laps around Arrowhead Stadium.
I mean, you can find a smart aleck bus driver in Kansas City who made some snide comments when we got on the bus. Maybe that's why we drove around the stadiums, to tick him off. You know, this is ridiculous.
Well, Gruden, maybe you ticked off the wrong bus driver, because I've got $50 that says he's part of the reason your racist emails got leaked and part of the reason you no longer have a job in the NFL, you bum. And a side note to that, Gruden is an idiot for those emails, absolutely, but he's about to win a lot of money because he took the NFL to court for being singled out in that Washington Commanders investigation and getting his emails leaked, and he's probably going to win that case. Anyway, enough of that loser. Let's move on to a winner. Somebody like Creed Humphrey, because he's certainly been making his rounds in the news lately, and it's definitely not for idiotic emails he sent with his NFL-associated work email address. Oh, man. Anyway, Creed was actually recently selected by the Senior Bowl as the 2021 Rookie of the Year. Then he celebrated his 23rd birthday on June 28th, and on the same day was announced as an official partner, a protector of tailgates, if you will, with the Boulevard Brewing Company. So that's pretty cool, but no, Creed is not done there, because he was recently interviewed by Crane & Company, a YouTube channel hosted by former athletes and coaches Jake and Blaine Crane. What a name, Blaine Crane, and David Cohn, an even better name, Cohn. Anyway, he was asked several questions about college ball, but he was also asked what it was like blocking for Patrick Mahomes, specifically about how difficult it can be at times because of how long Mahomes can take extending plays to create his Mahomes magic and all that good stuff. And here was Creed's answer.
With a guy like Patrick Mahomes that extends the play for so long, how many times have you thought the clocks ran out on the play and he's still out there spinning and twirling and throwing it 80 yards?
Yeah, when you're blocking for Pat, you kind of throw the clock out the window.
There you go.
That. So for me, I just try to block until I hear the whistle now. But he's so good at extending plays, so good at being able to make people miss and get his guys open in the routes and things like that. He does such an awesome job with that. So it's really fun to protect for him. It's really fun to play with him. He's a great talent, so he's very elite. That's the only way you can describe him.
Do you give him any help for putting ketchup on a steak?
No, I didn't.
Well, Creed, I agree that Mahomes is very elite, but I don't care how elite a player is. If you see them attempting to put ketchup on their steak, you better slap that nasty red bottle right out of that person's nubby little fingers, because that is an absolute abomination here in Kansas City and a sin. It's the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not put ketchup on a good, dead cow that's been lightly cooked. And yeah, Mahomes can get away with it at times, I guess, because, he's the greatest QB on the face of the earth and all that good stuff. But listen, a steak that is correctly cooked needs absolutely nothing on it, no steak sauce, and certainly no ketchup.
Who you calling a kid?
And did you guys know that the Chiefs are potentially renaming themselves to a more politically correct name that doesn't infringe on anyone's sensitive little feelings? In this day and age, you can never be too careful, so one of the safest names they could come up with has been presented, and that's the idea of changing the team's name to the Kansas City Goldfish. Again, this isn't yet official, but recently, wide receiver Sky Moore attempted to paint the Chiefs logo from memory, and this is what he got out of it. I'm not sure how intentional it was to be that far off from an Arrowhead logo, but if that was him seriously trying from memory, he needs to work on his memory skills first off, but second, I'm glad he's a football player, because art is definitely not his thing. Either way, just some good off-season fun, but there you go. I officially present to you the Kansas City Goldfish.
Don't touch the Nemo! Touch the butt.
All right, this is something we need to have a little chat about. Former Chiefs running back for like half a season, the guy who said he would never play for Andy Reid again, one of the most beloved coaches in NFL history, Leveon Bell, is back in the news. And no, it's not for him sitting out an entire year refusing to play under the franchise tag for other drama that he's caused or for his pathetic rap music. No, in fact, this man isn't even in the NFL at all, so it's not NFL news, but he's going to be doing a celebrity boxing match against Adrian Peterson on Saturday, July 30th on pay-per-view. And my first question is, who in their right mind would pay to watch these guys box each other? This is going to be absolutely pathetic. Adrian is 37, Bell is 30, both washed, but it looks like they are low on funds, and care not about their integrity or their reputation. So there you have it. Adrian Peterson against Leveon Bell in a boxing match is happening on an undercard in which the main event will be two YouTubers trying to slap each other, and I've never even heard of either YouTuber, so fun times, guys.
These guys are just going big left, big right.
Okay, let's pretend I never showed y'all that clip before I get canceled. But since we were loosely on the subject of running backs, let's keep that train going because Chiefs senior reporter Matt McMullen has been dropping a series of articles highlighting position groups upon the lead up to training camp. And we've covered his article on QBs already, but this time he's back with running backs, in which there are currently 8, including fullback Michael Burton. Obviously, the Chiefs will not be keeping all 8. 2 or 3 of them are going to be cut. So the question is, who? Last year at the start of the season, the Chiefs kept 4 on the active roster. That was CEH McKinnon, Darrell Williams, and fullback Michael Burton. And then they stashed Derek Gore like some candy in a cupboard on the practice squad, leaving a total of 5. But it's worth noting that in 2019, they had 4 true running backs and a fullback on the active roster at the beginning of the season. So we will see how things pan out this year, but we got to take a look at these 8 players and then have a chat about some standouts, who may make the roster, who may not, and all that good stuff. We have 3 perceived starters, at least right now, on the depth chart, in my opinion, as CEH, Ronald Jones, Jerick McKinnon, and then, of course, fullback Michael Burton. Let's start with CEH, the Chiefs' 2020 first-round draft pick that has unfortunately been riddled with injuries. But remember this, last season prior to injury, he ranked 7th in rushing yards through the first 4 weeks of the season and even had back-to-back 100-plus yard games. So the promise is certainly there if this man can stay healthy. He is a certified roster lock for me this season. He's staying, no ifs, ands, or buts, and he's going to be used heavily in rotation with Ronald Jones. In theory, we'll get to the in theory part here in a bit, but Ronald Jones is the former Buccaneers running back, and he had his best season in 2020, where he rushed for 978 yards and 7 TDs, averaging 5.1 yards per carry that season. And then next up, Jerick McKinnon, the 30-year-old veteran who sparked in the playoffs last season after Darrell Williams stubbed his toe on a door frame or something like that. He ended up racking up 365 scrimmage yards in the final 4 games and had at least 50 scrimmage yards in all of them. Then you have Michael Burton, the fullback. He is more than likely a roster lock as well. It's just how Andy Reid and the offensive company like to roll. He contributes heavily on special teams, did that last season and was used to block on offense, yes, but also had 11 touches for 57 total yards and a little touchdown. Then we have the Chiefs' 7th round draft pick, Isaiah. I will block my behind off for Patrick Mahomes Pacheco. This man is 5'11", 215 pounds, and ran a 4.37 40-yard dash. So he's very fast, loves to pass block and all that good stuff, and play special teams as well. He's one of the most intriguing guys to me because he could very well end up making the active roster, albeit mainly for special teams, potentially for kick, punt returns, pass blocking, and running back depth in case of injury. But if Pacheco makes the roster, who the heck does not out of Rojo and McKinnon? Remember, CEH is pretty much a certified roster lock, so he's staying. And there's always a possibility the Chiefs roll with 4 running backs and a fullback like they did at the start of the 2019 season. And if that's the case, I could see CEH, Rojo, McKinnon, and Pacheco all there easy. Now, if they don't do that, maybe Pacheco makes the practice squad to continue to develop, then it's CEH, Rojo, and McKinnon. But Rojo and McKinnon are not completely safe here. Let's not get it twisted. Either of these guys could, in theory, be cut. Say if Pacheco completely impresses, one could go bye-bye. But I'd be surprised if Rojo was cut at this point. I'd say he's like an 85% lock, though the late signing of McKinnon is definitely interesting to note. Are the coaches seeing something lacking in the running back room that caused them to re-sign a McKinnon so late? Not sure, but we're going to find out soon. Don't you worry, come training camp. The rest of the running backs, I feel, have a truly uphill battle to fight. Includes Derek Gore, who was on the practice squad for a lot of last season, though he had some great flashes when activated, rushing for 256 yards and 2 TDs with 5 yards per carry average and caught 9 passes for 105 yards. So Derek Gore does have that going for him, knowing the playbook, having a relationship with the coaches and all that stuff. But the addition of Pacheco, in my opinion, makes Gore's situation a lot more complex. Then you have the two remaining players on this list, and that is running back, wide receiver hybrid Jerrion Ealy and Tayon Fleet Davis. I have a feeling they are both gone before the season starts, as well as Derek Gore, depending on how many running backs the Chiefs keep on the active roster and end up stashing on the practice squad. If they keep 3 running backs active, then I would think Pacheco goes to the practice squad, leaving Gore, Ealy, and Fleet Davis more than likely gone. If they keep 4 on the active, then maybe Gore finds himself on the practice squad again this season while Pacheco is on the active roster. It's kind of early to make these calls, so these are all my best hypothetical guesses at the moment. And we can't forget about curveballs that could be thrown, like injuries, or maybe the Chiefs decide to do something wild, like cut McKinnon or trade Rojo. Neither have a huge cap hit or a dead cap on this team, but those are less likely scenarios to me. And we can't forget, they could store more than one running back on the practice squad. Just kind of depends on how the roster shakes out this season. But that's where I'm going to pass the question off to you guys. What do you think about the running back room and the situation there? Am I way off here? Where do you agree with me? Where do you disagree with me? Where do you think I'm smart? And where do you think I'm an idiot? Definitely let me know in the comments down below. And let's fight about it down there like Leveon Bell and Adrian Peterson are going to attempt to do later this month. Make sure to leave a bearded comment or a super thanks to potentially be featured in my next video. Sub for more, blah, blah, blah. And check out this video here, which is from Ryan Tracy on the Locked On NFL Draft channel, talking about Andy Reid and his roster building philosophy. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. That's a future shirt, by the way. How about those?